Listen, nothing lasts forever, okay? Because either A, the things we love now, we may fall out of love with later, or B, the things we love may actually, no, they will fall apart eventually, no matter how well made they may be, including your precious Birkin or Kelly. So I think there's something to be said about splurging on the right items. So today, I want to talk about the 5 as close to forever designer purchases I have not regretted spending my hard-earned money on and why. Now, it's quite sobering to realize that there are, in fact, only 5 items that at this moment I have zero intentions of selling or retiring, which means everything else that I have spent my money on, I don't consider them to be forever purchases. Now, that doesn't mean I have the motivation to sell it all off today, but there is a weird sense of relief in knowing that I'm not as tied or invested in these material things as I once thought I was. Welcome or welcome back to A Briefcase of Luxury, where we love to chat about all things related to life, learning, and luxury. While I have no intentions of quitting my day job as a business professor, I would love to continue to grow this channel, so thank you so much for being here today. Now, clearly, this is all very subjective, right? Because these items are reflective of my lifestyle and the fact that I don't see myself switching careers or relocating anytime soon. And that's a big deal. Having lived and worked in the US, in Asia, and in Europe, changing lifestyle, that's such a huge factor on what will or won't work for you in the foreseeable future. Like where you work, how you get to work, what you do on the weekends, where you go on the weekends, all that affects your ability to truly and fully utilize and feel good about your splurges. So speaking of work, we just have to start this list off with my Birkin 35. I'm sorry if I'm starting to sound like a broken record, but for as long as I've had this, I have considered this to be my ultimate work bag. And as long as I am working the way I am working now, the place where I'm working now, I do foresee me having one of these in my collection until I retire. Now, I bought mine pre-loved from Fashion File because in all honesty, there is no reason to waste your Hermes journey on the 35 when you can easily find this size for under retail on the pre-loved market. So this is in Togo leather in the color raisin with palladium hardware. Now, I do absolutely love the color, by the way, because most of the time it looks almost black, but other times, like under direct light, like right now, it's this beautiful, rich, deep purple. So it's just a little bit more complex than, let's just say, regular black, right? And Hermes has a bunch of colors like that in that dark burgundy, green, and blue families. Plus, these types of colors tend to be better priced than your traditional Hermes noir or black color on the pre-loved market. So that's just something to consider if you are wanting to save a few coins. Now, I have made countless videos on how this bag has surprised me, not only in terms of being my favorite work bag, but also in terms of being my most used work or otherwise, and therefore my best cost per wear bag. Now, for most people, the size 35 is the most impractical because yes, it's big, it's heavy, and it's top handle only. Now, I don't mind the weight because I do drive to work, and while at work, I never have to walk more than a couple of steps to get to where I need to go. I also don't mind like the open toteness of it for the same reason, because security is a non-issue again, since I drive to work and I do have my own office. And finally, the size, especially the width of this, it fits comfortably for everything I need for the day without having to sacrifice or to go without, which I'm pretty sure wouldn't be the case with, let's say, like the Kelly 35, which is quite a bit slimmer. So functionally, this is my ultimate forever work bag. And on the note of forever, it also helps that it is a timeless silhouette, and Hermes does have an exceptional aftercare service because they too want their bags to last forever. But here's where I have to be honest. Are there other bags that can accomplish the same functional purpose? I mean, of course, so call me superficial, but it does partially come down to the Hermes brand name and power. And what I can confidently tell you is not about impressing others. Like for 99% of the workday, I'm the only one that sees my bag. It could also be that I mostly work with men, and not a single one of them could possibly care any less about the bag I'm wearing that day. So I guarantee you, it's not about impressing others. However, I'd be lying to myself if I said I wasn't trying to impress myself, right? Some days seeing this in the corner of my office is the only thing that motivates me to work. Maybe it's just because I'm reminded that, yeah, I do need that paycheck if I want to keep buying stuff like this. And I'm not saying that this type of extrinsic motivation is right. I'm just telling you how it is. Next up, well, I don't talk about fragrances very often on my channel, but this is another area where I've also felt justified in spending my money, and that's on finding a signature scent that makes you feel like $1,000,000. I know this is one area where people say to save your coin on because it is a consumable product that does expire, but man, again, call me superficial, but there is something about finding a really nice fragrance that just makes you feel luxurious. And while I'm not saying that fragrances have to be expensive to be good, I will say that I have not found an inexpensive fragrance that has cut it for me in terms of its staying power and scent profile. Now, for me personally, I consider anything to have strong rose notes to be what makes up my signature scent. It's been my go-to note for at least 10 years, and I have not grown tired of it. I have tried all manners of rose scents, from non-designer to all of your typical designer ones and your not so typical designer ones, and even all of your more masculine fragrances as well. But for me, nothing has come close to beating Parfum de Marly's Delina line. Now, how it melts and mixes with my own scent, how long lasting it is on my skin. This is one fragrance that will be a forever purchase in the sense that I will never let me run out of these. Now, I'll try others from time to time, but if I know these work, why mess with it, right? Now, I do have both versions. I have the original, which I use more in the fall, winter, and the Delina La Rosée, which I use more in the spring, summer, since its overall scent profile is a little bit lighter and airier. Now, these are about $380 for the 75 ml bottles, which is what I have. These are definitely on the pricier side for fragrances, considering something like Dior's Roses and Roses, which I actually just finished a bottle of. Those are only like $145 for a 100 ml bottle. But keep in mind, that's an eau de toilette, and these are eau de parfums. But man, the rose notes in these are just perfection. Now, speaking of roses and forever purchases, I don't know if you noticed part of my new decor for my filming setup, but Rose Forever New York graciously sent me one of their best sellers, and it is a set of 9 beautifully preserved roses housed in a crystal acrylic jewelry box. Now, these roses come in a bunch of colors, and mine is in ivory, and this is just such a stunner, not only to look at, but I love the fact that it can also house and showcase your jewelry in this bottom tray that just slides out. Now, these roses can last up to over a year, so what a wonderful way to enjoy the look of fresh flowers indoors. Now, I typically don't have fresh flowers inside of my home just because clearly they only last for a couple of days at most, and my indoor cats love to eat flowers, okay? Now, instead, I do have a garden in my backyard full of peonies and pink and yellow and white roses, which I absolutely adore looking at, even though they are quite the pain to maintain, and I do all of my gardening myself. So let's just say I love the fact that I will now get to enjoy fresh roses indoor all year round. Now, these don't only come in a bunch of colors, but in a bunch of different setups. So whether or not you are wanting something functional like a jewelry box like what I have here, or something more for display like a proper bouquet, they have so many options. Heck, you can even choose the number of roses you want. They even do like single roses. Like, how sweet is that? So thank you so much to Rose Forever New York, who has also graciously provided us with a discount code, which I will link down below. So please be sure to check them out. Now, while this NYX Forever purchase is a newer one from last year, I can already safely tell you that I don't think I will ever feel the need or desire to replace or to upgrade this, and it is my vintage Cartier watch. I think this is officially called the 25mm Santos Octagon in stainless steel with 18 karat yellow gold, and I mean, just look at it. How can I ever fall out of love with this? It's about as simple and classic as a watch gets. I just don't see the net gain by swapping this out for, let's say, another two-toned octagon watch, right? This is just simply fantastic. Now, I'm not saying this is my one and done watch, but I'd be shocked if the day comes where I say, yeah, it's been fun, but I'm ready to part ways with you. I just don't see that happening. So in other words, this is one of the last watches I currently own that I would part with. I would have to work my way through all of my other watches before getting to this one. All right, my last two forever purchases are handbags, and they are head scratchers as to why that is the case. So let's talk about it. First up, we have my tried and true Prada Re-Nylon bucket bag. Obviously, I don't know if this bag can or will last forever. I mean, let's qualify forever by, let's just even say, the next 10 years, okay? I don't know if the nylon is capable for lasting that long, but let's just say if and when this disintegrates, which, by the way, it won't anytime soon. It's in fantastic condition and I've had it for years, but when it does, I will probably need to repurchase this. Now, again, I've talked about this bag in countless videos, and it definitely is a bit of a love-hate relationship. Well, I mean, hate is too strong of a word, but let's just say this is one bag that aesthetically is not my favorite, but man, I have yet to find a better designer travel bag than this. As in, please let me know if you have come across any other bags that can do what this can. Like, the nylon makes it lightweight and weather resistant and nearly indestructible. It's amazingly easy to pack. Obviously, the black does help hide any discoloration or wear and tear. And here's something worth noting that I don't know if I've mentioned before. Because of its round bucket shape, it severely cuts down on corner wear because there are no corners here. Now, if you own, like, let's just say the Longchamp Le Pliage bag, then you kind of know what I'm talking about when it comes to wear and tear on the corners. At the same time, it also cinches in very tight, so if pickpocketing is a concern, you don't have to worry about that with this bag. And you also do have a crossbody strap and a top handle. So I feel like with the top handle, this can kind of pass off as a evening bag, maybe a little bit more of a casual evening bag, but still, I mean, it's a fantastic all-rounder bag, right? And because of its shape, it really is a bottomless pit, I'm telling you. It looks like a small bag, but really it has medium bag size capacity. And for that reason, I still consider this to be my ultimate travel bag. And I have yet to find anything better, especially in the designer realm of handbags. Last but not least, let's talk about my Giorgio Armani La Prima bag in the small size, right? What a shocker. I know I'm not the only one that does audits of my bag collection from time to time to determine if there are any bags I would consider letting go for various reasons, right? Either because I don't use them anymore or because I feel like the timing of selling them would be a good financial decision, especially if they're still kind of trendy or whatever. So either, you know, it's to gain back some closet space or to gain back some money. Like, those are the primary reasons for why I do these audits. But every single time where I've done this little auditing exercise, this is one of the very few bags that I have never considered selling, which by default will probably mean it will be one of the very few bags that last the longest in my collection. Now, the thing is, this serves no purpose. Unlike the Birkin 35, which I use for work, the Prada, which I use for travel, I just simply don't want to get rid of it. I can't even give you a reason why. Now, is it my most used? No. Is it my most loved? No. My most expensive? Absolutely not. Like, this was only about $1,600 when I bought it a few years ago, which, you know, in the scheme of designer handbags is pretty good considering its full leather construction and it's actually beautifully designed. Structurally, it's just so satisfying to look at. So yeah, this is one of the forever purchases on my list that I just am not sure why it's been passed over for every single purse purge. So I guess all I have to say is you're safe, little buddy, and I hope you enjoy living on my shelf for a very long time. Plus, I feel like even when I'm 70, I could still rock this bag. And there you have it, my forever-ish purchases. Now look, might I eventually change my mind in the future? 10 years from now? 20 years from now? I think that's just something I have to be prepared for. Now, I did go through a period where I wanted to only buy things that I thought were considered to be timeless. And while I do still subscribe to that to an extent, I also realize that what other people say is timeless, Chanel, may not be considered timeless for me, especially if it doesn't work for me and my lifestyle. So let me know your thoughts. Are you still looking to buy forever items, or do you have enough awareness to accept that nothing lasts forever? Man, that sounded a lot deeper than it was meant to be, but please let me know down in the comments below. As always, thank you for sticking around until the bitter end of the video, and if you enjoyed your time here, please don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell, and I can't wait to see you next time.